I've never showered a day before ever in my life. I'm dirty.
Do you poop in the bathtub? Yes. Poop in the shower. Woo!
Well, it's that time, folks. It's that time. And if you ain't been paying attention to what's going on with our former baby girl, Amberlynn Reid, she's over here on YouTube making millions and millions of videos for us to watch. Nope. You know why? Because she giving up. She ain't playing that YouTube nonsense no more, so she has to go somewhere else. Did she go over to Kick and make her videos over there and live stream? Nope, never gonna happen. You know why? Because she's a little bit lazy, but a lot of bit more lazier. And that's what's going on. She has now moved, not from Kick, not from YouTube, not from Instagram. She is now over on the TikTok. Yes, folks, she is now over on TikTok. She trying to become the biggest YouTuber over there. She trying to take over the domain, folks. She trying to be, how can I say? I don't even know who the biggest person is over there with the most subscribers or whatever they do over there. Have no clue at all. But I see her over there. She trying to make like $1 or $2 on her live streams and all this nonsense, but she doesn't have it no more, folks. I hate to break it to you. Amberlynn Reid is in retirement mode. She has no more abilities over there to, how can I say, even doing what she's doing over there. And that's being a little bit kind, because now she has moved down. This is what I'm going to say. I want you to listen to this carefully. Amberlynn Reid has now moved to the point of back in YouTube 2018, 17, 16, 19, all that type of stuff. She is over on TikTok every day now, just banging her brains out. She got Starbucks and all this other nonsense. This is the content that she's putting out. You know why? Because she doesn't know what to do. She have no clue. When she did her old videos right there, she had other people to help her out. She had people in the background, side characters that carried the whole show. And now that she got nobody, she don't got the LCU have people, side characters to carry the show, to do everything while she dipped out and did her nonsense. She can't do that. She have to come to work and show up. And that's very limited. And the content she putting out is just, how can I say, is regurgitated. Is this the same stuff we seen? We could just time travel back to 2018 and it's the same exact thing. How can I say it? She like a comedian that only got 4 jokes. You know, you went that night, you watch, you laugh, ha 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 ha, and then you went the next week and you heard the same 4 jokes. This is going on for like 8 years, and that's where we at. And the sad part, Amberlynn Reid back in the day, she has some sort of, how can I say, personality, and she did her little thing and she joked and all this type of nonsense. But now she doesn't even know that. If you watch these TikToks over and over, her Instagram, how she was on the LCU, she just doesn't know what to do anymore. She has not evolved, right? In the community here in Girl, every single person, the channels, they some sort of evolve. They do different content. They try, they put a screenshot. They do whatever they got to do to make something different. But our former baby girl, nothing is different. And how can I be, I'm trying to be kind here. It's so bad, right? That she's now, how can I say, desperately over there trying to recreate memes of herself. I want you to, you heard what I said. She's trying to recreate memes of herself. Like I just watched the past 2 TikToks, right? And she doing that bowl of cereal nonsense, right? The big bowl of cereal with Captain Crunch. The same thing as that meme. She did it like 10 years ago. Well, like we understand the joke. Haha, yeah. Thank you so much, Amberlynn Reid. I'm laughing so hard. That's where we at, right? We're gonna watch the same program over and over again. And she doing the same mukbangs. That's where we at. And I want you to think about this. Every single thing that she's tried to do. Remember that she did that Hootenberry or Huckleberry or whatever she said, right? Hootenberry, I think it was, right? And she just wore that out. Like she wore it down, folks. We heard that every sentence. It was Hootenberry all day long. That's what she doing. And think about it. When she moved to the LCU, she got this new term. Did you ever hear it before? Baby girl. Baby girl, baby, every word was it was just baby girl, every single thing. And even I was trying to, like, what's going on? Now, I know I say it a lot, right? And she said it so much that I was like, I'm going to remove this from my vocabulary because she just wore it. It's not even funny anymore at that point. She took, what other people saying and she just wore it out so bad. I was like, one time I gagged, I think, during the LC. I was like, no, I turned the computer off. I said, I can't listen to this nonsense. I wanted me some cereal, and I came back and I said, I still can't listen to this nonsense. But that's where we at. When she doesn't have any content, she just creates somebody else's stuff. But the sad part, no one should come back and have to recreate memes. It's a once in a lifetime thing, like a one-hit wonder. You don't come back and try to do a meme 10 years later and think it's funny. Nobody's going to laugh at it. And now that she on TikTok, they're gonna see, they're like, wow, here this still content. They're just gonna be out, right? And that's where she at. And the saddest part of this, she is now trying to recreate, you know, like the LCU type thing where she have like a little panel. So she's inviting people on there because she even said it. I don't want to just be doing this myself. I gotta work over here. I gotta do whatever. So she bringing people up there, and all the people over there, they being nice to her. Nope. You know why? Because even they know. They're like, I see this lady. She not real. And then you know what she doing too? Now she want to battle people. She thinks she's how can I say, the queen of the hill, the queen of girlwood, and she gonna take over TikTok. And that's what she's doing now. She want to battle people. And I had I had to laugh, right? Because she was battling these people and they would get on and she's like, don't you know who I am? I Amberlynn Reid. And they would look at her like, you know, who in the heck is this woman? I have no clue who you are, lady. No clue who you are. But she's like, I'm Amberlynn Reid. I got millions of haters. I got lovers and haters, and everybody hates me and everybody loves me. And the people still looking at her like side eye, like, what is this person even speaking about? She really lost her nonsense over here. And that's what it is. Everybody that gets to battle her, she has to announce who she is. And that's not how it works. If somebody know who you are, they're like, oh my goodness, that's Amberlynn Reid over there. This is a former baby girl. I'm in here battling. These people have no clue who she's at. And they looking at her like, you know, I'm just another battle, right? They just want to battle some lady and they saw her and she thinks she is, how can I say, the most important person on the internet. And Amberlynn Reid, I hate to break it to you, there's only the community over here that knows you. Maybe a couple people at that bingo place you go to, they know who you are, but the rest of the internet, maybe they saw a meme a long time ago and that's the person over there that did a meme and they could care less what's going on with you. But for you to come over to a whole nother platform and think that you are so, how can I say, higher and important than the rest of the people is the funniest thing I have ever seen. You are the least, how can I say, humble person. For a person that says she had nothing growing up and she had a struggle and she made it on YouTube, you are a person that I could see no humbleness inside of you. You could care less. You came over here when you lost your monetization, right? And you were like, give me a penny, I need money. You wasn't even like, I'm sorry, I'm gonna work my way, I'm gonna get there. You was just immediately saying, I want money from these people. I don't care who they are. Give me your money. I need to pay my bills. Nonsense, right? That's not how it is. A humble person understands. And that's one thing. I've been watching you a long time. And I can never say if there's one thing that I never think you are, it's humble. There's 0% that I'm 100% 0%. That never happened, right? But the sad part of this, you're not going to learn from this experience. You over on TikTok and you doing what you doing, trying to make your channel over there to get paid. But there's one thing you have to learn. You got to be a personality, right? And right now what you're doing is not a personality. It's what a carbon copy. It's like a Xerox. 100, you just hit that button, boom, and you print out 500 identical things. That's what you're doing over there. You're not bringing anything new. You're not trying anything new. You're just trying to make a buck, make that money, take what you can from your audience and just do what you want. That's not how it really is. And there's nobody that's going to change Amberlynn Reid's mind because Amberlynn Reid doesn't believe any of this stuff. She thinks that we all lying. We just making up this story and it never existed. You know why? Because it's harder to face reality and have to say, you know, maybe I'm not the person that I portrayed. Maybe I'm not the person that I actually believe. And maybe every single person watching me might just be correct. The haters might be wrong once in a while, but if the majority of people are saying you are this type of person, we see it. Thousands of people from different countries, cultures, every single type of thing, and they saying that you one way, then it has to be you. And the saddest part, after all these years, former baby girl Amberlynn Reid, you haven't learned nothing. You know why? Because you don't want to learn. You don't want to try. You just want a paycheck. And that's how it's going to end, right? And you know what I'm going to do for my baby girl, Amberlynn Reid? I'm going to give you a little bit of advice. The last thing you need in this whole situation is people that are telling you you are doing the correct thing. A bunch of yes people that are, yes, I love you, Amberlynn Reid. You are the best. Do what you want, girl. Do whatever it is. You're the best. This is the last type of person you want. You know why? Because you're never going to learn that way. You know who you need? The people that tell you no. You need that friend that's gonna call you out and say, you know, that's the type of person I need to be around. I just need friends that tell me no, you are doing wrong. That's incorrect. You are doing a bad thing and you need to change your life, right? That's the type of friend you need. You don't need yes people. You know why? Because nobody advances like that. That's what Amberlynn Reid need. She need a whole bunch of friends that's gonna say, you know, you need to change this. Nope, we're not gonna play your nonsense. You need to fix the problem. And that's the saddest part. She's running, how can I say, platform to platform, into Discord to Discord, to get a bunch of people that's gonna tell her that she's the greatest thing in the world, right? And that's never gonna help her. She's never gonna change. She's never gonna do anything better. I want you to think about it. If you was around people that said that every single thing you did was perfect, you're the best person, would you ever even make any effort? You're gonna say, I have reached the top of the list. There is nothing I need to do that's better. And if I learn one thing in life, you always need to do something better. You need to try. You need to set the pedestal higher and higher, and that you can't even reach it as long as you have some sort of goal for. When you have yes people, there's no goal. You already succeeded. You did the perfect thing. You can never change, right? And that's a bad goal. Think about it. Even when she was in the LCU, she would get called out over there, even if it was fake, right? They would call out and she didn't even like it. She would run into the Discord so that she can hear, oh, Amberlynn, you're the best person. Forget what they're saying over there on that program. You're the best. This is not going to help you, Amberlynn Reid. But I'm done talking about that nonsense. You know why? Because what I say is not going to change what she's doing. You know why? Because she don't want to listen, and that's it. It doesn't matter. Maybe somebody else is going to say, what he said is pretty good, it's pretty smart. Maybe they're going to say what I said is nonsense and they don't believe anything I said, and they could leave it in the comments. You want to say that? Keep it real. Say what you got to say. You know why? Because maybe it'll better what I'm doing, right? But that's what I had to say about Amberlynn Reid. So now that we're done with all that nonsense, we're going to move on to somebody I haven't spoke about for, I don't know, 5 months, 6 months. You know, I said, let me watch some Foodie Kenobi. You know, it's been a long time. Maybe something's changed. I'm like, wow, I'm setting my pedestal way high. It's probably like 2 floors below me. That's how high I set the pedestal, right? So I went over there and I was watching on Kick or whatever website is over there that she working on, and I was like, wow, this is really it's really changed a lot. So I wanted you to see this in real time, folks. You remember 5 months ago, years ago, right there, she was just laying sideways all the time, just sealing her way to gratification. That's where she was at, right? So let's check. Did she change anything? Look right here. Boom. We still sealing sideways, laying sideways. I had to turn the monitor just to see what was going on. This is where we at. She has not changed. Stagnant, how can I say, completely stagnant, sideways, every single video, over and over. Yes, folks, that's where we at. But you know what she did do? She now have a scooter. She be driving around. She be speeding around. She be crashing into people. She broke, I think she had a flat tire one time. She crashed into the snow. That's how far we going. It's now, what, summertime, 90 degrees? And she crashed in the snow is the last time we watched. But she's now speeding around. She's like, I was watching and she was going through a mall. She was like, boom, like Fast and Furious. She was just zipping in and out of people and like beeping her horn or whatever it is like that at people. And it's just, how can I say, it's wild to see what's going on over there. But how can it get any better, folks? I said maybe the guy that used to stand next to her in the videos that she thought she was married to is out of the picture and I could just move on with my life. I was like, finally, we're going to get somebody up. Nope. Nope, I guess she still has the person that stands next to her, but they in another country. He's standing not near her at all. So I guess he watches her sail all day long. Now, Foodie Kenobi, I'm going to give you advice. If you continue, like I'm not a medical professional, but if you sit like that and you lay like that constantly for years at a time, at some point you're going to, how can I say, get some of her herniated disc in your back, or you're going to hurt yourself badly. Like, you know, the body is not designed like for anybody. They should not be laying with their arm sideways bent, like, you know, like if you bore like a string candy and you bent it like that, you should never be like this. But you know, do what you want over there, because you know, you get injured like that, it's going to be very painful. So I was looking inside the Kick and I was like, you know, what's going on with Foodie Kenobi? Because I saw a lot of people talking about her being in the emergency room in the hospital or something happened to her. I was like, what is going on? Because I have no clue what's going on. But I was reading the chat a lot. I was like, wow, they talking, something must have happened. Somebody said, what did they say? That some ambulance was over there in the by her building, and somebody her age got taken out and rushed to the emergency room. So everybody thought it was her. And you know she's always going to emergency rooms. When she was over in Syria and Kuwait and all these type of places, she was living inside of the emergency rooms. And then she came back to Canada, right? And she was still inside of the emergency rooms. So it's not like people didn't understand. Maybe it was her, but there's thousands of people live in her building. Maybe it wasn't, right? So you know what happened? All her fans were like, was something happened. So they was like messaging her and texting her and her mods. I saw people said that the mods was communicating with her. They're like, whatever's going on, are you okay? And all this nonsense. And she wasn't even replying. You know why? Because she just like former baby girl Amberlynn Reid. She loved the attention. She's like, oh, they're worried about me. I'm going to drag this on because this could get me more views later. I could get more money. And that is an awful thing to, people that actually care about you. They worried that you being rushed to the emergency room, and then you purposely got your phone right there because Foodie Kenobi does nothing all day. She just sit there watching and reading every single comment. So you imagine if you're sitting there for hours and people are like, are you in the emergency room? Are you safe? Are you alive? Whatever's going on, right? And you just ignoring it on purpose for attention. That is so bad to do to your people that care about you. The people that dislike you, they probably don't care what happened to you anyhow. But that's the type of person Foodie Kenobi is. She just loved the attention. Negative, positive, it doesn't matter. She just wants to see people caring about it or, drama filled. She's like, oh yeah, they think something bad's happening. And you know what she did after all this emergency room nonsense that she wasn't her, right? She comes online and said that she gonna probably go to the emergency room today, right? Because she says she have this big bunion between her legs or between her thighs or something, and all fluids coming out with bunion boil. I think she mean a boil between her thing. She had it and she needs to rush to the emergency room, and all this is gonna happen. So think about it. She's sitting there laughing, thinking it's funny. Oh, haha, they thought I'm going to the emergency room. Then to come on and change it and say, well, I'm gonna go to the emergency room. I'm gonna take my health seriously, and I'm gonna get this bunion and boil fixed between my legs tomorrow. Does anybody believe this? Nope. You know why? Because if you go back years when we was watching her before, she would always say she had some medical problems and she was gonna run to this place and see this doctor and all this nonsense and just never go. Cancel the appointment, move on with her life, and go whatever she did. And that's where we at, folks. This is what Foodie Kenobi is. She's seeking attention through medical emergencies. Can you imagine that? I just need so much, attention that I gotta fake emergencies that I have so that I could get a couple of 6 more views by people that care. That is the saddest thing. Well, that's the end of the video, folks, and I hope you enjoyed. Have a great day. Later.